Hello everyone. So this is Krishna. So as I mentioned before, so just let's begin this course. So before we begin this course, let's give some heads up about myself. So basically, yeah. So I am Krishna. So I am Microsoft certified trainer. So basically, I am Krishna, and I am a Microsoft certified trainer. That is nothing but MCT. So I have an MCT badge. So where I used to deliver the trainings for the Microsoft. So I'm working as a data analyst for more than 8 years, right? So I have 8+ years of experience as a data analyst, and I worked on a lot of MNCs within the India or outside the India as well. So I deliver the deliverables to across the globe. So I have an experience. I work within uh, around the companies which are there in the around the globe as well, right? So this is about myself, and I have expertise in a lot of tools like Power BI, Tableau, MySQL, SQL Server, and Azure Data Factory, and some Azure tools as well. And apart from that, like I have an experience in statistics, which is related for the data analysis, and so I have experience in Python as well. So these are some the core things that I used to work on daily activities. So this is what I used to work on a daily basis, right? So anyways, this is in data analyst course, right? So what we will cover here, so we will see those things here. So basically, we are going to cover the topics from the Power BI, right? So we are going to cover a lot of topics on the Power BI. So basically, we will start this course with Power BI. Why we are choosing the Power BI? Because so this is the easiest tool where you can get some confidence on the data analytics, right? So that's why we are going to start with the Power BI. So this is the first one we are going to cover with. So once we finish the Power BI, so within the Power BI, so what we are going to learn, so we are going to start with how to get the data, and so what are the different connectivity modes to work with the data, right? And then after getting the data, like how to model the data, how to cleanse the data, nothing but how to use the Power Query. So within the Power BI, so we are going to work on the thing called as Power BI Desktop, right? So desktop is one of the tool which we are going to work on, and after this, so we are going to work on Power Query Editor. So Power Query Editor is an ETL tool for Power BI where you can cleanse the data, where you can perform some transformations over here. So where we are going to work on Power Query as well. So once we finish, so this is an ETL tool which is there inbuilt within the Power BI. So we will cover the Power Query. So once we finish the Power Query, so we are going to work on DAX. So DAX is a language which is there within the Power BI. So which is a functional language which we are going to cover on a scenario oriented, nothing but whichever the use cases that are related to real world scenarios, right? So we are going to cover those things as well here in the DAX, right? So DAX is a very important when it comes to when it comes to Power BI, and it is also very much important for to understand or to start your job or start your role on a Power BI developer or a data analyst, right? So we will cover the DAX. So once we cover the DAX, then we will start working on creating the reports and dashboards. So we will cover with the creating reports. So that is what our next thing we are going to cover. And once we finish with the reports and as well as the dashboards, so then we will move on to, right? So then we will move on to how to work with the Power BI service. So this is the place where we are going to see another platform called as Power BI service. So how to manage your data assets, nothing but your reports and dashboards, how to maintain the security, right? So all these things will be covered in the Power BI service, right? So this is all about the Power BI course, right? So once you finish this Power BI course with the SQL, right? So you will be allowed, or you can apply for the role called as Power BI developer. So that's why what I choose is, so we will finish the Power BI and then the SQL. So why I'm going with the flow? So once you finish the Power BI and plus the SQL, so you can apply for the role for a Power BI developer, right? So once we finish these two, the Power BI service and as well as Power BI Desktop, Power Query Editor, and DAX, and then we will move on to the SQL. So in SQL, we are going to see the different things, and as well as we will start with the scratch. I hope in this particular session, nobody having any, I will consider nobody has any experience prior to the data analytics, or you doesn't work as a data analyst, or you don't have any knowledge on the data. That's what I assume, and I will deliver this course based on that particular input that I have. Right. So this is what we are going to cover in the Power BI. So this, it will take max to max of 25 to 30 days, or 25 to 30 hours, I can say. So it will take 25 to 30 hours to cover or to finish this particular Power BI. So once we finish this particular Power BI, so then we will move on to SQL, so which is very much required to start applying for the Power BI developer role, right? So that's why we are going. So it will take 1.5 months to finish both of them. So then you are ready for applying for one of the role, right? So just I will go with the SQL. So within an SQL, so we will cover a lot of things in the SQL as well. So within SQL, what we are going to do, I will introduce what is in databases, and so what is an SQL, so what is the need of SQL. So we will introduce this, right? So introducing the SQL. So after introducing the SQL, so what we will do, so just we will move on to the different ways, or different terminology that is related to the databases and the data sources. So then we will start with working on data normalization, and so that I can say the terminology which is required for the data, right? So we will work on the terminology, and we will see. And so then after that, like, we will see different types of languages, I can say, different types of query languages, right? So different types of languages we are going to cover. So what is that? So what is DDML? What is DQLL? What is DCL, right? So we are going to what is DQL. So these are the things that we are going to cover, and we will see what we can able to cover, and we will see which are related to the data analyst, right? So we will cover all the topics that are related to the data analyst. And so once we finish this, so we will move on to the working with the DQL, basically how to work with the different functions which are related for the data analysis. So functions within the SQL, and after finishing up the function, so we will go with subqueries, which is very much intermediate or advanced step in within the SQL, right? So we will work with the subquery, right? So we will work with the subqueries, and then we will work with the views and stored procedures. So views as well as the stored procedures. So we will going to work on all these things, and stored procedures, right? So these are all the things that we are going to work on once we finish this particular SQL, right? So it will take hardly 15 to 10 to 15 hours, or I can say like within 45 days. So you would be ready for applying this Power BI developer role, right? So this is what you can expect. And so after all we finish this particular topics, right? So we are going to see this performance as well, which is very, very important for the interview purpose, and which is very much required for the scenarios that you are working on, right? So best performance, and as well as the another thing that we are going to cover is the best practices as well. So performance, and as well as the best practices for to work on the SQL. So we are choosing the SQL called as MySQL. So we will go with the MySQL. So mostly this is open source, and most of the, so if you start learning the SQL, if you don't have any knowledge on SQL, so if you start learning on any SQL, it might be a MySQL, PostgreSQL, or a T-SQL. So any SQL is sufficient to start knowing the things of SQL and start working on the SQL. So we are going to one of the SQL called as MySQL. So we will start our or we will finish all the things, all the syllabus on MySQL itself. And as I told you, it will take time of 10 to 15, right? So maximum to maximum, it will take 12 to 13 hours. So we will consider it as 10 to 15 hours. So this is what we are going to cover in the SQL. So once you finish these two, so you are allowed, you can apply for the role called as, so you can apply for the role, that is role called as Power BI developer. right? So you are ready with one of the role that is called as a Power BI developer. And so once you finish this once we finish these two, so then we will move on to the next topic, right? That is called as advanced Excel, right? So we will cover this advanced Excel. So where in the advanced Excel, we will see different functions that are there. So I'm not going to write anything in the advanced Excel, what we are going to cover. So I will just explain you over the oral itself. So what we are going to cover, so we are going to cover the different functions that are there, and so how to work with the lookup functions, how to work with the some within the Power BI desktop, also how to create a tables, how to work with the tables, and so how to work with the metadata within the Power BI within the Excel, right? And so we are going to cover a lot of things within the Excel as well. So we will also work on the pivoting tables, which is also very much required. So if you're already working on pivoting things and all, so we will also cover those things. And apart from that, we will work on conditional formatting, import functions, and as well as formatting, how to clean the data, how to prepare the data within the Excel. And we will also work with the some data analytics by using the statistics within the Excel, right? So these are the topics that we are going to cover, and how to use the spotlights, how to use the macros. So we will cover a lot of things within the advanced Excel as well. So I will provide you the outline. So once we finish this session, so you can get it from the management, right? So advanced Excel will take 10 to 12 hours, right? So or like you can take it as 8 to 10 hours. Like we need to finish this course at least in a 2 months, at least in a 2.5 month, right? So just I will go with 8 to 10 hours, right? So after this, we will go with an 8 to 10 hours for the advanced Excel. So once we finish the advanced Excel, we will move on to the Tableau, right? So because as in a data analyst, you need to know at least two different things within the data visualizations, right? So we already covered one of the data visualization tool, so that is called as Power BI. So then we will move on to the next tool, the next thing that is called as uh, Tableau, right? So we will work on the Tableau, right? So within the Tableau, I will make you to introduce like what is the learning path and all. So here the Tableau, the core Tableau will be essential with working with the most of the visualizations. So that's why I will introduce to how to work with the data visualization within the Tableau. So I will give some introduction. So introduction to the Tableau, and I will also give you the differences between the Power BI with Power BI 2, Power BI with Tableau, which will, because we already covered the Power BI part, right? So then it would be very easy to, if you compare Power BI with Tableau, so you would understand in a better way. So once we compared with these two, and so then we will work with connecting to the various data sources, right? So connections. So we will work with the connections, and so we will work with the metadata. So how to work with the metadata, and how to work how to deal with the data within the Tableau, right? So we will see how to work with the metadata. So we will see this metadata, how to work with the metadata. So once we finish this working with the metadata, so then we will move on to the what are the filters in filters is also one of the main topic. So we will cover the filters in Tableau. And so once we finish the filters in Tableau, we will move on to some visuals. So where you can see like how to prepare charts, graphs. So we will work with a lot of visuals, because Power BI, sorry, Tableau, mostly you need to work on the visuals, and you have a lot of customizations within the visuals as well. So that's why we are going to work with chart, bar chart, like bar chart, column chart, graphs, and as well as tree maps, right? So we are going to work with a plenty of visuals that are there within the Tableau. So we will finish the visuals, and so after finishing, then we will move on to the another topic, which is very important again. So calculations in Tableau. So just like in DAX, but DAX is a very powerful when compared to the calculations in Tableau. So we are going to cover the calculations in Tableau, right? So calculations in Tableau, and so once we finish the calculations in Tableau, we will move to some advanced analytics, right? So advanced analytics in Tableau, right? So this is what we are going to cover. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover within the Tableau. So, and finally, so once we finish the advanced analytics, so we will finish it up, or we will wind it up with creating of the dashboards and stories, right? So this is what we are going to cover. So dashboards and the story, right? So this is what we are going to cover in the Tableau. So once you finish with the Tableau, anyways, we are already covered with the SQL part, right? So with SQL knowledge and Tableau, so you can start applying. So again, it will take 15 to 20 hours. So anyways, we are already understand. So what is a data analysis, how to work with the data analysis, how to work with the data. So what are the different points you need to consider while doing the analysis, right? So you already gone through all these topics, right? So definitely, definitely you are quick enough to learn Tableau part. So that's why we are going to cover this Tableau within 15 to 20 hours. So once you finish this Tableau course, like you can be applied, right? So you can apply a role called as a Tableau developer. So you can be applied for a Tableau developer. So this is another role. So once we finish the Tableau, so now you have the two different roles. Like for advanced Excels also we have one job role. So we will discuss it in the later part once I will conclude all those things, like all the roles that we can apply for once we finish the course as well, right? So this is what we are going to cover in the Tableau, right? So we will mostly concentrate on the Tableau and Power BI and SQL. So this is our core areas for the data analyst, right? So once we finish, so then we will move on to some bit of programming language and as well as the analytical parts. So here, if you look at, right, so the programming language that we are going with is called as a Python. So why we are going with a Python? Because Python is the most accepted language for data analytics, right? So on data analysis. So that's why we are going with the Python, right? So here in the Python, so we are going with, so in the Python, we are going with the fundamentals of the Python, right? So once we finish the fundamentals of the Python, so we are going to work on the different things, like what is the data wrangling, and so what is the data analysis with the programming language, with the programming language Python, and how to create a model development, how to like how to evaluate the model evaluation. So these kind of things that we are going to cover within the fundamentals of Python. Like after fundamentals, like we will also try to finish one of the library that is called as NumPy, right? So if possible, we will also try to finish the pandas as well. So based on the time, based on the interest, based on the requirement, so we will cover one or two libraries. So basically, we will cover with NumPy, right? So if possible, we will also cover another library that is called as pandas, right? So this we will try. So we will finish the fundamentals of Python. So where within the fundamentals, where you are going to cover what are the different keywords, what are the functions, what are the variables, and also lot of things we are going to cover within the fundamentals of Python. So after finishing of the fundamentals, then we will at least cover one of the library, it might, like NumPy, and if possible, we will try to cover the pandas as well. So these are we can expect. So once we finish this course, and so it will take again 10 hours of time, right? So to cover the fundamentals at least in a higher level, and the pandas as well, right? So this is what we can expect within the Python, right? So I hope this is clear, right? And so once we finish this, right, so we will move to the next part, right? So that is called as statistics, right? So statistics, we will cover some mathematical statistics and as well as the statistics that are related to data analysis, right? So there are different types of statistics concepts that are there. There is a descriptive statistics and distributions, probability theories, right? So hypothesis testing, regressions. So these are the things that we are going to cover within the statistics, right? So statistics, I will keep it as short as possible, right? So because you don't require much in the real time. So just for the analysis purpose, just for the knowing purpose, we are going to cover the statistics. So within the statistics, as I told you, we are going to cover the distributions, probabilities, hypothesis, regressions, right? So this is all about we are going to cover within the statistics. So it will hardly take 5 hours to finish the statistics, right? So this is what you can expect within the statistics. Once we finish the statistics, right? So I will give you some heads up or some introduction to business analysis, like business analyst role. So what to do as a business analyst or a, so business analyst is completely different role when compared to the data analyst, right? So I will give you some enough explanation for 1 or 2 hours. So what you need to perform as a business analyst, right? So this is what we are going to cover uh, for the entire course. And yeah, so it will take 1 to 2 hours for this particular business analyst. So once we finish this, like we will end off this particular course, right? So once you finish this, all the topics, we are planning or like planning for this course to be finished for within the 2.5 months. Like this is the minimum time. So at least it will take the 2.5 months to finish the course, and it will extend up to 3 months of time. So this is what we are expecting to be finished this course. And the classes should be for 1 hour from 9 to 10. So it might be changed in the future, right? So based on the flexibility from yours and because based on the flexibility from my end, so we will alter this time like half an hour here and there. But yeah, so we are going to take this session 1 hour per each day, right? So how much time it will take, right? So it will take 3 months maximum, and so we will have a session 1 hour per day. So after this, so what you can expect, right? So we will see what are the roles that we can apply once we finish, right? As I told you, right? So I will conclude. So what we can apply as a data analyst, right? So I will tell you those things as well. And so the classes would be from Monday to Friday, right? So it is not a entire class, right? So Monday to Friday. So what you can expect from this particular course, right? So this is a practical oriented course. This is not a theory session you are going to work on. So this most of this, like I can say 70% of this course will contain practical, right? So again, Friday. Okay. So 70% of the course will contain the practical things. So apart from the practical, so I will give you a lot of assignments. Right. So I will give you a lot of assignments as well. So where I will provide you for assignment purpose. So I will give you some use cases. So where you can work on the use cases, right? And so you can also work on the scenarios, right? So use cases and the scenarios which are uh, very important for your real time, right? So I will give you a real time scenarios and as well as the use cases. So definitely which will help you to understand what is the market is expecting or what is the industry needs from you as well. And so when you join any organization, so you can expect these kind of use cases and scenarios as well, right? So here, like these assignments will definitely help you to understand in a better way. So these assignments will give you to give the hands-on experience for you as well from from the perspective of project and from the perspective of the real-time scenarios, and where you can expect so these kind of scenarios in the real time as well. And after this, so once we finish this course, as I told you, it will give you the leverage to apply the different kinds of roles. Like we will see what are the different roles. We already covered one of two, right? So I will let you know like what are the different packages you might get and what you can expect and what the industry is expecting, and so what might be the interview process. So we will see some bit of those things as well today. This is a demonstration class, right? So you might not expect a lot of technical things or demonstration things today. So just I will give you the brief intro, the course structure that we are going to cover. So yeah, so that's what we are going to do on the first day, right? So we are going to cover all these things. Like I forgot to mention one more thing. So here we are going to cover the data analytics, so the fundamentals of data analysis, right? So fundamentals of the data analysis, that is what we are going to cover in the beginning of it, right? So what is the requirement of doing the fundamental, like what is the requirement of doing the data analysis, why we are doing the data analysis, so what is the need of doing the data analysis, and what are the different ways of doing the data analysis, so what is storytelling and what is really requirement of the storytelling, and what are the different ways to telling a story, right? So these are these are all the things that we are going to cover on the first itself. Like again, it will take like 2 to 3 hours. So this is what you can expect. 2 to 3 hours we are going to cover. So the fundamentals of data analytics and the data analysis. So we will cover this fundamentals of data analysis. Then we will start working on Power BI and all this stuff after this later, right? So here, so the in the entire course, if I conclude from end to end, right? So if I conclude, yeah, so if I conclude from end to end, right? So we are going to cover the two visualization tools, that is Power BI and Tableau, and we are going to cover the SQL, and we are going to cover the programming language called as Python, and we are going to cover the statistics as well. So the mathematics, I can say, so which is related or which is required for the data analysis or data analytics. So this is what we are going to cover for the entire course, right? And if I look at the, like, once you finish this course, right? So definitely everybody has one question, right? So how much I can expect from a job role, or how can the market is demanding for this data analyst role, and what are the roles I can apply for, right? So we already seen one or two roles, right? So basically I will start from the scratch. Like if you are very beginner and you don't want to take the risk, you can apply for MIS. So this is a data management role. So it doesn't require any technical knowledge or any other thing. So it only requires Excel. So if you have advanced Excel, right, so you can apply for this particular role, but it doesn't have any really advancement in the salary. So you can expect like 5 to 8 lakhs or 5 to 10 lakhs for this particular role if you're having an experience, or if you want to go with an experience of 2 to 3 years, right? So you can expect a salary package of 5 to 8 lakhs, right? So this is what you can expect from this, right? So the MIS, so which is the data management role. So after this, you can apply for Power BI developer. So Power BI, so developer, so BBID, nothing but the Power BI developer I am going with. So for Power BI developer, you need to learn the two different things, right? So the first one is Power BI, right? So Power BI and as well as the SQL. So these are definitely very much required for this role, right? And so for this role, if you want to work with, so for example, I'm considering that you have a gap of 2 to 3 years at least, right? So I'm considering 2 to 3 years, or mostly I will consider for a 3 years role, I'm saying, right? So 3 to 5 years or 3 years, right? So you can expect from 3 to 5 years. If you have a educational gap after education, if you have a gap of 5 years, or if you have a gap of 5 years, right? So you can expect the salaries, whatever I'm mentioning here. So Power BI developer, you can expect, so if you have an experience of 3 to 5 years, so you can expect up to 8 to 13 or 15 lakhs. So like we will go with the minimum figure itself. So you can expect 8 to 13 lakhs of package if you want to go with an Power BI developer, right? So, and again, as I told you, so you can go with the Tableau developer. So if you go with the Tableau developer, right, so you need the Tableau. So most of the time you require only the Tableau and the data, the fundamentals of the data analysis, and as well as some statistics as well, because so in Tableau, right, so mostly you are going to work on the visualizations, and you are going to work on mostly on the visualizations, right? So that's why, so Tableau doesn't require any kind of SQL and all, but yeah, so if you have, anyways, we are covering that SQL as well. So if you have that, that is an added advantage. So data fundamentals of data analysis is required. So fundamentals of data, that is also we are going to cover, right? So funda of data, right? So this is what we are going to expect for the Tableau developer. So for Tableau developer, again, you can expect like 7 to 14 kind of lakhs, right? So because it is a tool which will be helpful for the data scientist and as well as from statistician as well. So that's why, so you can expect the lower range and the higher range as well. So that is what you can expect from the Tableau developer. So once you done like these two, right? So we will move with the data analyst. So this is what we are looking at, right? So this is the, and if you finish this entire course, and if you give some time, right? So I would not say like So the course enough, right? So whatever I'm explaining here, so will not be efficient or will not be sufficient to what you can say to the learning path. So definitely you need to spend some time. For example, I'm spending a 1 hour of time to deliver the daily class, right? So at least you need to spend 2 hours to do some hands-on over it. So hands-on is nothing but so to whatever we are discussing in the classroom, whatever we are discussing on the session. So definitely you need to practice at least 2 hours, and you need to do some research, and you need to go through some documents if you're interested to learn, or like if you're an enthusiast to reading and all, right? So if you're reading enthusiast, you can go through that learning documents, and you can read it, and you can get more knowledge, and you can also you have to spend time on like what would be the interview questions, what is the like industry expecting, like what kind of questions they are asking, right? So you have to do some research every day, and you need to whatever the 3 months, right? So this 3 months is very, very crucial for you. You need to consider this is a crucial period. You need to consider that this is a crucial period, and you need to work hard to get the job, right? So if you dedicate it for 3 months, right? So for rest, like for the whatever, if you join the course and if you following the course, right? So you need to dedicate at least 3 hours per day, except Sunday, right? So you need to work on the Saturday as well. Anyways, we don't have any sessions on Saturday, but still you have to spend some more time on Saturday, and you need to explore whatever we covered for the entire week, right? You need to revise those things on the Saturday. So this is what I would suggest. So if you just join the session, if you just join the classroom, and if you feel that like you are going to get a good job, so that is not at all possible. It is not at all possible for every instructor to deliver everything, and it is not possible for any participant to get a job by going through only the classroom sessions, right? It is a myth if you are feeling so, right? So what I suggest you is like definitely you need to spend at least 2 hours of time. So this is what I am expecting. This is what the expectation from my end, right? So in my experience, like I delivered to more than like 1,000 people, like till now, right? So on the data analysis and some other courses, right? So there are some people who got placed with a very, very good package. I can say like some students got like more than 25, 26 also. So they are very, very enthusiastic, so they spend the time like more than 5 hours 6 hours. Some participants like so one of the guy has got like 26 lakh of package. Yeah, so that is an absolutely stunning, like mind-blowing for me as well, right? So you can also spend some time, you can also keep time for the preparation, keep time for the preparation of interview. So you need to keep your plan ready, right? So anyways, I'm giving the plan for the entire, like I will consider entire the classroom, and I will give you the plan, right? But the personal plan will be differ. So you need to concentrate on your personal, like on your personality. You have, everybody has its own personality. So some people will understand with the scenario, some people will understand with by reading the document, some people will understand by doing it, some people will understand by listening the class itself, right? So definitely you need to concentrate on your behavior, right? So how you will understand, how you will better understand the things, right? So you need to concentrate on your personality, behavior, and then you need to prepare a study plan based on your capabilities, and you have to stick to the plan for the rest of the 3 months or 5 months, like how much the time if you take it, right? So for the preparation, so keep the time for preparation, keep the time for the sessions. So once we finish all the topics with the enough research and as well as the practice, then you are allowed to apply for the data analyst role. So once we cover, like, so for the data analyst, we require Power BI, right? Excel, and so after this, we require Python. So we require Tableau. So mostly any one of them is fine. So if you are good with the Power BI, you can go with the Power BI. If you have a Tableau, you can go with the Tableau. If you have both of them, so you can apply for the both as well, right? So yeah, you can keep it as you have an experience on both of them, both on Tableau and as well as the Power BI. And with regards to this, so the SQL, right? And some statistics, so some understanding about the statistics, right? So basically most of the industry is expecting these five. So Power BI, Excel, Python, Tableau, and SQL. So you should be good at these things, right? So to apply to a role called as a data analyst, right? So once you, right, so what you can expect, right? So you can expect like a higher margin, you can expect a lot, but at least at a lower margin, you can expect from 9 lakhs to 15 lakhs or to 18 lakhs also. If you are going with an experience of 4, so you can expect like more than 10. So if you are going with 2 or 3, so you can expect from 8 to 9, or like if you are above 3, so you can expect 9. But if you're going with 4 to 5, so then you can expect with the 15 lakhs as well. So whom this course is meant for, like if you are having a non-IT experience, right? So non-IT experience who wants to convert into IT, so non-IT to IT. So this is the best course I would suggest for you, because so this is the best way to start as well, because there is no such greater coding in this, right? So if you are non-IT background, definitely you will be struggled to work on the codings, and so if you go to any other tools or any other technology, so there might be a lot of coding involved. But here, so it doesn't require a hard coding, right? So you require a minimal coding to finish this course called as a data analyst, right? So this is what you can expect. And who are passed out from the college, passed out from the college, so preferably greater than 2 years, like because so if you want to get a more package, at least you should have a gap of 2 years, which will give you an edge for you. Or you can also go with, I can say, without experience as well. So I will keep it this as an optional. So two is not mandatory. So once you finish the college course, also you can join this course, and yeah, you can start looking for a fresher role as well, right? But it is very tough and it is very difficult to get into the data analytics role with an without experience. That is the harsh truth, right? So yeah, so anyways you need to you need to do these fake things to get into the data analyst role, because it is a very responsible role. So that's why most of the organizations wouldn't prefer to give the role to the fresher students. Yes, but if you have that confidence, most of the some companies are coming up with uh, openings for the fresher role as well, freshers as well. So you can apply for that and you can get it for that as well. So this is what you can expect, right? And so without any IT knowledge, right? So and so this is the prerequisite, right? So everybody asks the prerequisite, what is the prerequisite for this course? So there is no prior experience or no prior knowledge is required, or so I am expecting everybody doesn't know anything. So that's why what we will do, so just we will go with the starting or the scratch of the scratchest of the scratchest we will start with, and then we will move on to some intermediate to advanced level things. So we will cover in advanced level things in Power BI, Tableau, and SQL as well. So which is required for the data analysis. Don't expect to be SQL to be covered from end to end, Python to be covered from end to end, because so those are very, very vast subjects. So we should enable to cover within the course of data analyst, right? So we will cover those topics which is related to our course, which is related to our role called as data analyst. So we will try to cover those topics in this particular session, right? So as I told you, it will take 3 months of time. So within the 3 months of time, you can apply for 4 or 5 different roles. So here I mentioned the 4, and there are like 1 or 2 roles. Like I'm not mentioning here, but yeah. So just the naming convention is changed, but anyways, those will be fallen into the same category itself, right? So this is all about the course that we are going to cover. So if I conclude, so we are going to cover the Power BI, SQL. So once we finish these two, we can apply for Power BI developer role, and we are going to move to advanced Excel. And after this, we are going to Tableau. So once we finish the Tableau, you can apply for the Tableau developer, and we are moving to Python. So within the Python, we are going to cover the fundamentals, and as well as the one of the libraries. It might be NumPy, right? So we will mostly cover the NumPy, and if possible we will cover the pandas as well. So and we will move to the statistics. So within the statistics we will cover the different concepts called as descriptive statistics, distributions, probabilities, hypothesis, regressions. So these are the topics we are going to cover in the statistics, and then we will discuss about what is a business analyst, what are the roles and responsibilities of the business analyst, right? So who can apply for the business analyst role? So we can also like I will also give you a path where you can apply for the business analyst role. So if you consider that role also, right, so you can apply for the business analyst as well. So business analyst requires some more additional language, sorry, some more additional knowledge actually. So it is not possible to deliver within the session for business analyst, but yeah, I will guide through to get that knowledge, or like whatever the interest area or whatever the project that you work on, right? So just I will help you on that. So where you can spend some more time on that particular business analyst, and you can get some knowledge over on the domain, and you can apply for the business analyst role as well. So business analyst doesn't require any tool knowledge, he requires the domain knowledge. So we will discuss all these things if you join the course at like once you finish all the technical aspects. So we will cover the business analyst role responsibilities as well, right? So if you consider this role also, right, so again this role has a lot of demand, and you can also expect again for the 7 to 13 or 14 to with an experience of 3 to 5 years or 3 to 4 years of experience, right? So this is what you can expect from this course. And who are can be allowed, or whom this course is for. So this course is for the people who are working on non-IT. They can, if you want to convert into IT, so this course is the best suits for you. And the students who are passed out from the college, yeah, you can also join for this course. And so who are having 2 years of uh, educational gap, so that would be like after education, if you have a 2 years of gap, that would be beneficial to get a more package and to apply for, or to get a more offers, or to get a more interview calls as well. So, and what is the prerequisites? I am not expecting any prerequisites. So the only prerequisite I am expecting is, so some logical thinking, right? So some mathematical understanding. So if I make you given any expression or a function, so you need to understand that mathematical expression. So this is what I'm expecting, some logical thinking. So whenever I put some use case, whenever I put some scenario, you need to understand that. So that is what only I'm expecting. So if you have that skill, right, so you are the person who can apply, or you can join for this course, right? So this is all about the course. Yeah. So if you have any doubts, so you can ask in the chat, or you can ask in the mic as well. I hope the access has given to you to open up the mic. Kalyan, are you there?
Yes, sir. Everyone can be able to unmute themselves.
Okay, great. So you can unmute yourself, and you can ask doubts if you have on a technical aspects. But if you have any questions on the course fee structure and all, so you can ask the Kalyan after the session as well. So don't ask me the questions related to the course structure and the payment modes, right? So if you have any technical doubts or related to any technical question, ask me by unmuting yourself. So if you have any question related the to the course fees and the course structure, the course payments, right? So you can contact the Kalyan after this session.
Yeah, hi, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir. My question is actually, I'm a fresher and just graduated this year, and I'm like kind of switching, thinking of switching to data analyst. So
Mhm.
I'm worried that, as you say, that having a gap of 2 years can give me an edge of like for a better package. But like being just graduated, what do you think is my scope in this field?
Yeah. So where are you from?
I'm from Maharashtra.
Okay, okay, fine. See,
Yeah.
for example, so why I given you this, see, for example, why I kept it as a greater than 2 years. For example, if you see the packages that I mentioned, right? So these are the packages for an experienced guy like more than 2 years. So if you have one like doesn't have an experience, like you can expect this kind of package, right? So you would be around like 3 to 4 or 3 to 6 lakhs of package, like based on your technical skills and as well as the company, right? So most of the companies will not pay good handsome of money for a fresher. So that's why like why I written this is greater than 2 years to get this kind of package. So if you're okay with if you're compromising with the package like 4 to 5 or 4 to 6, right? So then you can join this course and you can apply for the data analyst roles.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Like 4 to 6 is just a good amount of money for now. And sir, my another question is that do you also have hiring partners with you?
Just you can connect with the Kalyan. So I hope there is some hiring partner for us.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
you can get the details from the Kalyan.
definitely, definitely. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So any other questions you have?
No, sir, I do not have any other questions. Those were the only questions.
Okay. So if you
Yeah,
have any questions, the platform is for you. You can open up or you can unmute yourself and you can ask a question.
definitely, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
Why you should Tableau, sir, in data analyst?
sorry,
Tableau.
Tableau?
Why you use a data analyst Tableau, sir?
I didn't get your question. Can you come again, please?
And why use Tableau in data analyst?
Why use Tableau? Okay, so basically data analyst role, right? So we are going to cover those topics in the like in the first session, right? So in the first session. So why we require? So as a data analyst, we are going to leverage one of the data visualization tool,
Okay,
right?
sir.
So by you leveraging this data visualization tool, so we are going to create the reports and as well as the dashboards. So why we are creating these dashboards and the reports to give the insights of your business, right? So for example, you have a lots of data, right? So coming across the different platforms. So we need to create a report or a visualization to give what is going in your company and what is the profitabilities, what is the KPIs, what is the different. So these are all things we are going to cover and yeah. So to give these insights, all right. So we require a visualization tool. So either we can go with the Power BI or you can go with the Tableau. So as this is a data analyst course, right? So just we are going to cover both of them. Yeah. Any other doubts?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I have 9 years gap is there. Is it possible to hear?
How many years of gap?
9 years is there. 2014 pass out.
Okay, no, like there is no problem for that. But so what you need to do is, so you can keep any experience or like any kind of thing for the first 5 years or first like 6 years. Like, say for example, so once you finish the course, like the way that the way you learned. So if you are really confident to clear an interview with an experience of 5 years or 6 years, right? So you can apply for a role with the 6 years as well. So first 3 years you can left it as a blank, or you can apply for like you can keep it any the role that you are worked on other non-IT roles, and you can put it for like 4 or 5 years or 6 years, whichever years you want, right? As an IT experience which is related to data analyst. So then you can go for the interview and you can check it like whether you are capable of doing all those things. Once you feel that you are capable, yeah, you can apply for like 5 to 6 years as well.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so but you need to spend a lot of time to see. For example, a 5 years guy must know a lot of things, right? So, for example, if you work for 5 years within the data analyst role, you must be doing on lot of things, right? So definitely you need to get that knowledge within the 4 to 5 months. So that much time you need to spend. That don't forget to that as well, because you need to spend and you need to do lot of hard work as well to reach there.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. What are the required skills and the certifications to procure the data analyst and how to qualify on that position? See, for example, this is a very good question. The required skills that we are discussed, right? So all the Power BI, SQL, Tableau, Python, and as well as the statistics. So these are the things that we need as a data analyst. But so if you ask me the certifications, there are a lot of certifications from the Power BI. From the Power BI, there are two certifications, that is PL 300, so which was conducted by the Microsoft, and there is another certification from the same Microsoft. You can apply for DP 500. So that is also another certification on Power BI. That is an advanced level of Power BI where you need to work on some cloud computing platform like Azure. You need to work on some Azure, and we need to work on some platform called as technology called as Synapse as well. So yeah, Power BI plus Synapse we can go for, that is called as DP 500. And for the desktop, for Tableau desktop, you have specialist. There is a specialist and there is an certification and fundamentals as well. So Tableau specialist you can apply for. but these certifications cost you a lot, right? So for example, Microsoft certification costs you $100, nothing but 5,000. Yeah, so it costs you around 5,800, but Tableau costs you like more than 8 to 9,000 per the certification. It doesn't require to apply for any role or to get any job, but yeah, so if you feel you want to get certified, yes, you can apply for these certifications. So Tableau specialist, or PL 300 and DP 500. So these are the certifications you can apply for. Okay. Any other questions for me?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
So my another question is that are you gonna like provide us with any kind of projects from your end,
Yeah.
like
So I
live
forgot to
projects or
mention
not?
here. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so we are going to work on end-to-end project, right? So good question actually. So end-to-end project we are going to work on. So after this end-to-end project, so we are also going, I'm also going to give one capstone project. So where you can work on this one capstone project as well. So this is what
Okay,
you
so
can,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So are we like gonna work on just one project, or we will be working on
Yeah, so
multiple
there are
projects?
two projects I can say. One is
Uh-huh.
end-to-end product, like so which
Uh-huh.
I am going to take. I'm going to give you a lot of assignments on this end-to-end project, right? So
All
which is
right.
I'm going to help you and support you to understand this project. So whereas I'm giving one more project, one capstone project, where you need to understand, you need to explore, and you need to perform this project from your end. So I'm not going to help. So just I will give you the requirement and I will give you the scenario. So where you need to build everything from the scratch from your end itself.
All right.
If
So all right.
required, I will also give you one more capstone project. If you are good enough to, and if you finish this capstone project very quickly, I will give you one more project as well. But mostly this is more than enough.
Definitely, sir. And sir, what will be the duration of completing this project? Like, it will be covered during the 3 months period, or
Yeah,
it will be done
within
after 3 months?
once we are going to finish this course, right? So once we come to the end of this course, like 1 week before or like 10 days before, I will give you the capstone project. So you can simultaneously work on the syllabus that we are covering and the capstone project. So simultaneously we will cover by the 3 months itself. Hardly it will take like 10 or 15 days more to finish the capstone project from your end. I feel like, so mostly we will finish by 3 months. If not, we will take 10 more days extra.
All right, sir. And like for a fresher, like how much projects does a company ask for? Like being a fresher.
One, two is more than enough. 1, 2 is more than enough.
All right, sir. All right, yeah.
Great. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, we will wind up the session for today. So thanks for joining the question. So if you have any doubts and concerns, you can consult Kalyan at any given point of time. And if you have any concerns or questions related to course fee structure and as well as the payment modes, so again, you can contact with the Kalyan, right? So thanks for being on the session and have a nice day. And yeah, all the best for your upcoming sessions, right? So, and I hope everybody will be join this session and all the best for your decision as well. Like, yeah, before going to that, like, congratulate for joining this and thank you for showing up the interest on the data analyst course. Thank you.